Hey, Mike, what do Kelly Slater and PT have in common?
I don't know. They're both world champs?
Nope, they both own Endless Summer box set.
Oh my God, rad. You guys, you can get it too. The link's in the show notes.
Went down to Waimea Bay. What a fantastic sunny day. Boys and girls hanging round. Surfers going up and down. That's when I caught my wave. Knew what to do. Surf that wave right to the shore. And yes, dreams come true.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Quivercast. I am Mike, your host. Let's get into the show. Okay, everybody, welcome to the Quivercast. We are stoked today. We have a full-on legend, surfing legend, aerial legend. We have Davey Smith. How are you doing, Davey?
Oh, good. Thanks for having me on. It's a real honor. And let's chat it up.
Let's do this. So, first off, Davey, how did you get the name Davey? Is your name Davey on the birth certificate, or is it Dave? Or David?
No, it's David.
Okay, David.
But when I was a kid in Santa Barbara, just starting to surf and started to associate with Channel Islands, they all just called me Davey.
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of stuck.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and it stuck, and that was it.
So if you're like,
and here we are.
Yeah, here we are. Dude, it's rad that you kept it. I've seen several other guys. They kind of grow out of the name. You don't feel like you grew out of it, which I'm glad you didn't. If you say no.
No, I mean,
I love it.
You know, it is what it is. I've had other nicknames that aren't as flattering.
Okay, that's good. I bet. Okay, so in the beginning, Santa Barbara. What year did you start surfing?
Oh my gosh, let's see. I started when I was 10. I'm 65, so okay. 50 years. Basically.
Wow, 55 years.
Yeah, a shit long time.
Wow. So, how do you feel? Do you still surf today?
Oh, I surf all the time. I absolutely love it. I try to surf 2 or 3 times a week.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of surf up here, so it's great. Yeah, fully into it.
How was growing up surfing in Santa Barbara area? And where'd you grow up exactly?
Well, let's see. I surfed a place called the Pit or Henry's Beach. It's just a crappy little beach break right in Santa Barbara. It's the only left in town.
Okay.
So the closeout, and that's where I just honed my skills. You had to be so quick to ride it.
Okay.
And then just kind of graduated to all the right points, and then it was all about going backside. So Sandbar, Mesa, the Pit, Hammonds, all the little secret nooks and crannies of Santa Barbara.
Is there a lot of secret ones in there? You don't have to say.
There's little places that, you know how it is being a local. You're like, oh, that breaks on this every once in a while.
Yes.
And you get it.
Yeah. So how did you start surfing? Like your friends down the street surfing, or like how'd you get a surfboard? How'd that all happen?
All my brothers surfed.
Oh, okay.
And they were into it. My brother Vince, he's just the most amazing person ever on the planet.
Okay.
He pushed me in my first wave at Lock and Cheetah. I still remember every little detail about it.
Wow.
Yeah, I was like, oh, I'm done.
What did it feel like?
10 years old.
Yeah, what did it feel like? Do you remember?
It was great. I was on this little red board, like a little 5'10" single fin, and he pushed me in the wave, and it was just the speed and the chatter. I was just going straight, and the wave was probably ankle high, but
right.
It was such a rush. It was great.
That's awesome. How many brothers do you have?
Let's see, my brother Don, my other brother Vince, and my brother Trace. So,
okay, and all 3 surfed?
All 3 surfed, yes.
And they're all older?
They're all older. We were living in L.A. when they surfed. They would hitchhike all the way across town through L.A. to get to Doheny. So
wow, dude, that's so far.
Yeah, it was
so
crazy.
far. Wow.
With longboards.
Yeah. So what year is that? So that's got to be what? Let me do the math there. Like early 70s or late or like late 60s?
Probably early 60s. I
Or
would
early
say.
60s. Okay.
Yeah. It was, they're hardcore surfers. They love it.
Wow. Are they still surfing today too?
Vince surfs a lot. He's on the South Shore of Hawaii,
Oh, cool.
on Oahu,
Yeah.
Honolulu, and my brother Trace is on the Big Island. Yeah, he surfs.
Wow.
My brother Don is no longer with us.
Oh,
So.
okay. That sucks. But that's rad. Your brother still surf. Okay. So
Oh yeah.
what is your family thinking about a bunch of surfers, especially in the 60s? Surfing it was cool, I guess, but at a certain point in the late 60s, people kind of frowned on surfers, right?
In the 60s, as far as I can remember, it was so popular.
Yeah, like Gidget times, I guess, probably.
Yeah, it was really popular, but it wasn't accepted like it is now. Not even close.
Yeah. So you guys are all becomes like a family of surfers. Are you guys traveling together and surfing, or how's that going?
No, we don't see each other much, but
Okay.
we try to get together at the holidays and stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Rad.
So I surf the most out of all of them.
Yeah.
But I'm the youngest, so.
There you go. Okay, so you guys moved from LA to Santa Barbara. Is that what happened?
Yes.
Okay.
My parents bought a Baskin Robbins in Santa Barbara.
Wow.
And they're like, we're moving to Santa Barbara. And we drove up. I was 8 years old and RainCon was firing. And I just remember my brothers just going, oh my God, it's paradise.
Yeah. I bet.
Yeah. And so we moved to Santa Barbara and my parents opened the Baskin Robbins. And yeah, we all worked there. It was great. Scooped ice cream and surfed epic waves.
Yeah, you're like surfing for ice cream, right? Wow.
Yeah.
So you guys are living in Santa Barbara. What was your favorite break? I mean, did RinCon become the favorite break, or is there like secret places?
I've grown to love RinCon now.
Okay.
But Santa Barbara is a hard place to grow up if you're goofy foot. There's no lefts. Usually, I better not say the name, but
that's good. Good, don't.
I'd like to surf anywhere, but El Cap is my favorite wave.
Wow.
But and everybody knows El Cap, and it never breaks. So
I was going to say it never hardly breaks.
Yeah, but it's just a ridiculous wave
when it does break.
Yeah, twice a year.
And probably today. It's probably breaking today, I would guess, right?
Yeah, I heard it was good size yesterday, but there was 100 guys in the water.
Oh, so when you started surfing, how many guys were out there?
Out at El Cap?
Capitan, yeah.
Not very many. I
right.
mean, it was not well known at all.
Right.
So
I've never seen it actually break. I've camped there several times. Describe the wave.
Well, it's just unique because there's the upper part. See, here's another thing. It only breaks a couple times a year,
mm-hmm.
but it has to be the right size. So the upper part breaks, and then it wraps down to kind of the elbow and the point, and that's just a running, sucked out section,
mm-hmm.
and then it wraps into the cove. So you have three different waves. When they connect, you can't get a better wave, but it doesn't break very often. So
yeah, wow. Is it heavier than like a RinCon? Right? It's like more throwing out.
RinCon's great. RinCon is in my book world class, but El Cap's it's a very challenging wave.
Yeah,
so
kind of spicy.
Yeah, close to the rocks and a little bit unpredictable, and just you can get hurt there. It's a fascinating wave. It's very challenging, and it's got a lot of nuances to it.
Wow. Anyhow, so we go through Santa Barbara, and you start progressing as a surfer, right?
Yes.
How does that go? Tell us about the progression.
Not that great.
Really?
Well, Santa Barbara was, single fin pintails.
Okay. When you started?
Yeah. And, I started riding the twin fins and, gyrating, for lack of a better term.
Okay. Okay. I can picture that in my head, but describe what gyrating is.
Well, just going like super fast on the wave and like, really sharp, hard turns and
Mm-hmm.
really progressive surfing. People weren't like, they were kind of like, not real receptive until later on.
Okay. So early on surfing, you had your own thoughts of surfing, your own style, is what you're saying.
Yes. And all my surfing in those days came from skateboarding.
Okay.
Everything came from skating.
Okay.
Because we were riding pools at the time, empty pools, and getting coping was the big deal. And then people started flying out of the pool. And I was like, shit, why can't you do that on a wave?
Yes.
So, yeah.
So is this the same time as like Dogtown was going on, like Venice and all that?
Right around the same time. Yeah, right around the Dogtown days, for sure.
Okay.
Down there, it was more progressive. Santa Barbara was a little bit more laid back.
Okay. Laid back meaning like, what does that mean? The people were more conservative, or like, what do you mean laid back?
Not so much conservative, but skating and like progressive surfing were just kind of coming on the scene. We were maybe a little bit behind Dogtown.
Gotcha. You're surfing like you're skating, is what you're saying.
Basically, yes.
And then
Yeah.
you keep surfing the way you like to surf, even though people around you aren't appreciating what you're really doing.
Yeah, because it was just, I was young, and so like the older guys were all riding single fin pintails, and all of a sudden, twin fins were happening.
Right.
They were the latest design, and they were so fast and so loose.
Mm-hmm.
You could do incredible things on those boards. And then, with CI and Al, it just kept progressing, and then it all took off. So.
Okay. So do you remember surfing your last wave on a single fin and then walking onto a twin fin? And what year was that, do you think?
Right around when Mark Richards, was riding twins.
Okay.
Yeah, I can't remember. Probably, I want to say late 70s.
Okay. All right. Fair.
Yeah, probably late 70s. Yeah, I mean, they were so fast and they were so freeing that, you could get so much speed, and that's when started going for airs. So.
Wow. And what boards were you riding at this time?
What brand?
Yeah, what brand boards?
I started riding for Al early on.
Wow.
So like mid 70s. I was like their second team rider.
Wow. Who was the first team rider?
Pugsley Barnhart.
What? I've never heard that name. Should I know it?
Oh my God, Pugsley rips.
I'm sure he does.
He was a Rincon local, and he was the first team rider for CI.
Wow.
And I still remember I was at the shop when he got one of his new boards,
mm-hmm.
and he had a little, like, this really cool little Porsche coupe, like back in the day.
Wow.
And he couldn't fit it in. He was jamming it in there with this brand new board. It was pretty classic.
So you've known Al Merrick like forever then.
Oh yeah. I've known Al since day one. Yeah.
Okay. So how'd that relationship start?
Let's see. I just wanted to ride for somebody. I can't remember.
Okay.
Let's see. I had a couple of maybe single fins from them, and then I started getting twin fins, and yeah, it was back in the day. They had a little tiny shop, and oh God, it was so great. Him and Terry, they were just the best.
What street was that on? Do you remember?
It was on Helena Street in the Funk Zone, which is now called the Funk Zone in Santa Barbara.
Okay. Wow.
Little tiny Helena Street.
So you're already ordering boards. Is that how you got a relationship with him? Like how you met him?
Yeah, I can't remember exactly how we met, but Al was pretty like astute. Like he was very on top of like up and coming talent and where the sport was going. And, you know, he was fully committed to doing surfboards. And so I'm sure he saw something in me that I don't know what, but
The progression, I'm sure.
And so, yeah, we started a long, great relationship.
Now, Merrick and Channel Islands being one of the biggest, if not the biggest brand in the world for surfboards.
Yeah.
And you being there when the shop was so small and I guess pretty new at that point, right? Did you ever
Yes.
think that they would become what they are today as a brand?
Well, let's see. You know, everything changed. Like, I came along, and you know, I guess I was the hot young kid.
Okay.
You know, and progressive and doing all this stuff, and then Tom came along,
Of course.
and that was the end of my career.
That's funny.
But Tom came along, and then it was like, oh shit, this kid is a competitive genius. So then, you know, Tom and I became really good friends, and I sort of rode his coattails, and because we were opposite. I hated contests, he loved contests.
Okay.
And so
you're a goofy foot, he's a regular foot. Like everything's opposites, it seems like.
Yeah, he has great style, and I don't.
Okay. I would disagree with that. I mean, both of you guys have great style, just different.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
I'm constantly working on mine. He doesn't even have to try.
No. I mean, yeah, Kern's just Kern, right? I mean,
Yeah.
There's not much more else you need to say about that. Okay.
Yes.
So anyhow, you're at Channel Islands. You're this young Grom, or a Grom, I'm assuming, right?
Yeah.
You're
for sure.
Are you the hot kid of Santa Barbara at this point? Is there anybody else that you feel competitive with?
You know, there was older guys, but see, I was on the other side of the fence, if you will.
Right. Because of the way you surfed.
Well, yeah, I was young, and it was twin fins. Like all the hot, really good guys were at Rincon.
Okay.
You know, Santa Barbara has a deep well of talent. Like the whole Wilderness crew, Greeno and Richie West and all those guys, they were freaking next level.
Mm-hmm.
They were all riding single fins, kind of whole bottoms, the Greeno designs.
Yes.
And then Al came in, and then we were doing the, you know, twin fins, and the airs started, and, you know, Tom started. So
Yeah. Which changed surfing, really.
it did. Yeah, it totally changed surfing.
Okay, well, we're sticking on it with the Davey period. So you're a goofy foot. The waves aren't good. The waves are very small in the summer. They were in Santa Barbara too, right?
Santa Barbara is the worst place to be a surfer. It just is.
Except when it turns on. When it turns on, it's the best place.
It's world class when it turns on.
Yeah.
But it's just, you can go months in the summer without surf, and you end up driving.
Yeah, you have to drive to Ventura or something.
Up the coast, down the coast, and you know,
Okay.
wintertime's a different story, but the rest of the year it's pretty sparse.
But even on wintertime, you get island blockage too, right? A little bit. So it has to be like the right swell to kind of.
It has to be a straight. Pretty west. Anything under 300 degrees will get into Santa Barbara.
Okay, cool. So you find yourself this like hunting for waves. It sounds like starving sometimes for waves.
Oh yeah.
So you're traveling. Where are you going to surf? Ventura or maybe up north, like where? Halama or something? Like where are you surfing?
Yeah, Halama. I surfed a ton at Halama. And a lot in Malibu during the summer.
Okay, yeah.
We used to go. I don't know if you know who Jimmy Medico is, but
I know the
put
name.
out a book.
Yes.
Yeah, and we traveled a lot just down Malibu area, Ventura. Ventura is a swell magnet, so it gets every direction. So
right.
There's always waves there.
I mean, really, it's only 20 minutes down the road. And you're in Emmawood, right? Or C Street.
Yeah. It's half an hour.
All right, half an hour.
From Santa Barbara.
Okay.
Yeah, not too bad. Emmawood always has waves.
Yeah, it always has like little fun waves. Okay.
Yeah.
So, but let's talk about your style. So you're a skateboarder turning. Are you a surfer that skateboards or a skateboarder that surfs?
Well, surfing was the first love,
Gotcha.
but during the flat spells,
There you go.
skated.
Okay.
And there was incredible skateboarding in Santa Barbara because there was a lot of pools, there's a lot of fires, and they had
Oh yeah.
we skated a lot of empty pools like after fires. It was terrible.
Yeah. You're making the best of a bad situation, kind of.
Yes, and getting kicked out of most places, but but then there was the tea gardens, which is in Montecito.
Mm-hmm.
It was this huge reservoir, and it was unbelievable skateboarding. Like,
wow,
it was incredible. Like, you take off on one side, drop down in this huge bowl with like 35-foot walls, and come up the other side, and you could come all the way around
because you had so much speed.
Yeah.
Wow.
And you had to hike into it about a mile. It was like totally secret, and it was super sick.
Wow. Yeah, I've never heard of that. Was that like? Did it become famous at some point?
Well, it gave birth to, I don't know if you've ever heard of Tom Sims, but Sims skateboards.
Of course.
Yeah, he invented the urethane wheel.
Yes.
And that was his, that's where he started his business. And then guys would come up from down south, Scott Starr, he was a photographer. He has a lot of photos of it, but it was quite a scene, and few people knew about it from out of town.
Okay. You guys kept it quiet, huh?
He kept it quiet, and you had to trespass to get in there.
Okay. Well, yeah, but you guys are kids. That's what you're supposed to do.
Oh yeah, I didn't know. I didn't see the no trespassing sign.
That's correct. 100%. Wow. So a lot of skateboarding, and then you finally get a decent wave. You're on a twin fin, and then you're just ripping. So you had a unique style. How would you describe your style? I guess like skateboarding, like your cup, actually, how you kind of move your head and your arms.
Yeah,
I like it.
It's always experimenting. I like to experiment with, surfing.
Okay.
I consider it like an art form.
Mm-hmm.
There was times, the boards were kind of stiff, and sometimes you had to twist your body a little too much to get the thing to move around. That's my excuse.
No, it looks good though. It really is. It's just different, but it's rad. I love it.
Yeah, and so it was.
I like that.
it was all skateboarding related.
Okay.
It was going really fast, pumping down the line, and flying out of the waves, because we weren't riding. Street skating wasn't a thing.
Mm-hmm.
It was we were all riding longer skateboards.
Okay.
The transition from riding those boards and then to surfing was perfect.
So when did you realize the surfboards would work doing airs and stuff? Because you're like the first guy to do airs. Am I correct?
Yes. Now that could be debated by other people, but
okay.
It was basically.
So I've heard a couple other names, but go ahead.
Yeah, the first one I did was in '75 at Rocky Point in Hawaii.
Okay.
I know Matt Keckley we were kind of doing the same thing around the same time.
Okay.
And then there was Kevin Reed in Santa Cruz.
Yes, those are the two names I was going to say. Yeah.
Yeah, and they were all probably skaters, but
yeah,
it was, who knows who landed the first air. I got a lot of publicity for doing it.
Yeah.
But those other guys ripped too. So
of course. So what I remember is as a kid, I used to watch this show that Peter Townend did. It was called Wave Watch. I don't know if you remember or not. And
I do.
He used to use your footage all the time. So I was a huge fan of you. And he
great.
always gave you the credit for being the first aerialist. So I'm going to go with that.
Oh man. Well, tell Peter, thank you. 'Cause that's like, he's a legend.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. So, and I guess you guys were all the same period. So of course, and Matt's a friend. So, but, you guys all kind of did it organically though, too, right? There was no other outside influences. You were the influence. You influenced yourself.
Yeah, we were the influence. Unusual time in Santa Barbara because there was actually waves because it was an El Nino period.
Mm-hmm.
And there was just surf all the time, and Al was into it. He wanted to make better and better boards, and he had the riders, and it all kind of clicked.
Yeah.
It was just kind of a perfect sort of, the universe came together right there.
Yeah. Let me ask you this. The boards you were riding that Al Merrick was shaping you, and the boards Tom Curran was riding that he was shaping for him, were the boards similar at all or totally different?
Tom, I had a couple thrusters. I'm older than Tom by
yes, of course.
7 years.
Yeah.
And so Tom was riding twin fins for a while, but they just weren't like he has like a super flowing style in the pocket.
Yes.
And so the thrusters were working good right when Simon Anderson invented them.
Mm-hmm.
Al started making them, and Tom just took off from there. Where I stayed on the twin fins. I love the twin fins. So.
Okay. Fast forward to today. Are you still riding twin fins a lot?
No.
Really? I thought you were going to say yes, but okay.
Thank you. That's very kind. I'll take that compliment.
Okay. Okay.
No, I'm riding gliders.
Okay. Describe a glider.
A glider is the original person that came up with the glider is Skip Fry.
Yes.
They're not longboards. They're gliders. And the one that I ride all the time now is 11 feet.
Wow. Okay.
Yes.
That's a big board.
You can paddle it. Like I'll surf 2 or 3 spots in one day, just paddling to different spots.
Yeah, you can get around.
And yeah, you can get around on 11 feet.
Yeah, you can.
It's basically a kayak.
Okay. Go ahead. Sorry.
But it has the wide point's very far forward. It's very wide in the nose, super hard edge, but it is a twin fin.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yes, it's a twin fin with a little trailer on the end. They're so much fun. They're just the best.
Right on. All right. We'll go backwards again. Then we'll get into today in a little while.
Okay.
Your boards what are your dimensions? Do you remember when you were starting to do these airs, and how big are your boards?
Yeah, most of the boards, they were right around 19, like 5'10", 19 inches wide.
Okay.
Pretty thick, 2.5 inches thick. They're classic 80s boards.
Yes.
With the thick, boxy rails, hard edge, beak nose. They worked really well. But they were, the materials were just starting to change. So they were right when the boards got lighter and the glassers had the skills to make them lighter. That's when I started doing the airs.
Okay.
So the boards got really light.
Yes.
Yeah, so light for then.
So flying out the back, did it happen on accident or on purpose?
Oh, no, it happened totally on purpose.
Okay.
Yeah, on purpose, because skateboarding was starting to go out of the pool. People were getting airs. I think I got a couple airs off the coping a couple times. I was like, shit, why can't you do this on a surfboard? The problem is that skating, you can do it over and over and over
Correct.
and over until you wire it, get it down. But surfing, every wave is a little different. You need the right wave.
Right.
So it took a lot longer to progress on the water.
But that was your go-to maneuver?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So you weren't like trying to hit the lip or do cutbacks. If it was standing up, you were going for the air.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I was just focused on like going as fast as I could.
Okay. You love the speed.
Air.
Yeah. I keep reading that. You love the speed.
Yeah. It's just get the speed and get the air.
Hold on a second. Now I'm going to call you out on that. I think, now what about the floater?
Okay. Well, the floater, yes, the floater was where you couldn't get air.
Okay. This is a closeout section or something? Section in front of you?
Yeah, but you're like, oh, why can't you ride the back of the wave?
Yes.
That's, and I'm like, shit, I have so much speed. I'm just going to ride the back of the wave.
Brilliant.
That was really cool to discover that.
Which one's funner to do?
Oh, to land a big air, there's nothing better than that.
Okay. Fair enough. But
as far as progressive surfing goes.
Yes. Okay. But the floater, like it's kind of, they still use it today. They don't give it a high score on the pro contest, but it is such a connection maneuver where a lot of times you'd have to straighten out, right? Back in the day, because the section was in front of you.
Back in the day, you would go around, you would drop down and go around the section. And a lot of times you because you're burning your speed off going to the bottom of the wave, you wouldn't make it.
Mm-hmm.
So, but on the top, you could keep your speed and then fall with the lip. So,
okay. So which one came first, air or floater? Or they happen around the same time?
I remember doing them right around the same time because it was pretty much at the same time.
Okay.
Yeah, I think, it was right. I would say, neck and neck.
And how old are you at this point?
Maybe 18.
Okay. So you're not a grom anymore. You're getting older. You have respect of all the other guys in the lineup, I'm sure.
Well, I don't know about that. I was probably a little shit.
Were you
get out of here, you little shit?
Were you an aggressive surfer?
No, but when you're a kid,
of course.
You act like an idiot sometimes,
okay.
And I'm sure I did quite a few times. But back in the day, guys kept you in your place. It was no joke. It's like they didn't mince words. Let's put it that way.
Okay. What are these guys saying about the way you're surfing to you?
It is kind of a shocker, I think, because it was so progressive. It was so different. And, but I think most people were like, wow, because everybody can relate to the speed factor.
Yes.
Because no matter what, if you're a surfer, speed is like something that you can really respect no matter what.
Yes.
The airs that I was doing weren't that high. so there were probably, there was a few that were, they got higher as time went on, and getting to that point, guys would go like, God, you're just wasting waves. And I'd be like, well, I'm trying to do something new and it's fun to kind of experiment. So yeah.
Okay. So was there ever I don't know, guys taking off in front of you saying you're wasting a wave? Or are you taking off in front of these guys thinking they're on a single fin and they're wasting the wave?
I would like to think that I'm respectful in the water.
Okay.
And I think I was back in the day, because back in the day they kept you in line. The older guys kept you in line.
Mm-hmm.
And, I would get snaked a lot because now riding shorter boards, if you're not pumping and going super fast down the line back then, people just take off because you're not going to make it.
Right. And they can get into it a little earlier too.
Yes.
Yeah. So you go through this whole era. You got Tom Curran that's younger than you. That's a big kind of coming up. You got Merrick, who's now becoming like a kind of a household name, right?
Yeah.
In the 80s, right? I don't know when he really kind of took off, but I'm guessing early 80s.
Yes, 80s was the big era.
Okay. And how was that era?
In some way, I don't know what.
You were there at Channel. Were you there working with Merrick at the time too, during that period?
Working there?
No,
or just working with him on design?
On design.
Oh, yeah. We were working on design, and the forefin, I went to Australia and brought the forefin back to him, and he started doing forefins. And
so give me the forefin dimensions. Like, is it more like a twinser or like a quad or what?
Yeah, it's a quad.
Okay,
yeah.
the straight quad.
It's straight up quad.
Okay.
Yeah, and It was cool because for Tom, Al had to shape boards that competitively there was no, he couldn't experiment.
Mhm.
They had to be, Tom, he's a perfectionist and he wants a board that's going to work in competition and get the job done and have it fits his style, where Al and I would try all this weird designs and like, what does this do? And
Okay.
it was a very dynamic situation for everybody.
Yeah. So he's working literally with two different types of surfers. 100%,
Yes.
like on the other side of the spectrum. Okay.
Yes.
So, and by the way, has he ever brought one of your old shapes back? You know how he did like the Black Beauty, like have they brought back an old Davey Smith remodel?
No.
They should.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I didn't really have, the twin fins, there's been some attempt to bring back the twin fins, but, they're very popular now.
They're super popular. Everyone's riding them.
Yes, but yeah, no. I don't have a model.
You should have a model. I'm sorry. That's great.
No, don't be sorry. It's great.
Okay, but it just blows my mind that two extremely different surfers. So, are you and Tom surfing together too? By the way, are you guys like? I'm talking about in the 80s.
Tom and I are great friends. We've known each other forever,
Okay.
and he lives like 2 miles away
From you now, or when you're a kid?
Yeah, he's up here too.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay. So, you guys have this whole Channel Islands thing. Who else is riding for you guys at the time too?
Pugsley.
Oh yeah. So it's just you three?
No. No. A guy named Ron Brown. Ron Brown was Mr. Rincon.
Okay.
He rode for Channel Islands. And then, Al started building a team, and, he had a lot of guys riding his boards.
Mhm.
There was quite a few really good surfers.
Yeah. So you changed surfing. When did you start seeing people catch on to the way you were surfing? When did you start seeing other people starting to put this in their repertoire of surf maneuvers, the air and the floater? And how did you feel?
Let's see. I'm trying to think. Surfing is that way. There's always the young kids coming up and they're emulating what they're seeing.
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden they get really good at it. They just take it to the next level.
Right.
So I can't really remember how that all went down.
Okay.
But I remember starting to see, like, when the floater was becoming popular and the aerials were becoming popular, I'm like, I saw it. I knew skateboarding was going that way.
Yeah.
And I'm like, surfing is going to go this way. It's the way to go for audiences.
Yes.
It's a spectacular thing. You see Gabriel Medina do airs now, and it's like, oh my God.
Right. They're so high up out of the water. And really, you invented it.
Yes. And thank you for that. And I really appreciate that. And I'm super stoked and humbled to be like on the cutting edge of that movement for sure.
So you don't remember the time of period when you started seeing all the little Groms trying to do what you were doing?
I'm trying to think. The next batch of Groms was like the Hammonds kids. Okay. They were more kind of emulating Tom.
Right. The world was, I'm sure.
Yes. Everybody was like, oh, that's what I want to surf like. I don't want to do these, air things.
Okay.
They don't look that great right now.
They do, but okay, go ahead. I got you.
No, I'm messing.
Yeah.
But people, here's an example. Rory Russell back in the day
Yes.
was an amazing pipeline surfer and was incredible style. But everybody wanted to be Jerry Lopez.
Right. Yeah.
So, that it was the same deal.
Okay. All right.
People wanted to be like Tom. Tom was an incredible surfer, and he fit the Santa Barbara point break vibe a lot better than I did. I was goofy foot. So.
Yes. How is your backside? Surfing.
Well, I've been working on my glutes. I'm trying to work out. Come on.
So yeah.
Well, up here it's living on the Central Coast. It's all about the lefts in my book. There's so many lefts up here.
Yeah.
It's a joy to go frontside, and surfing backside all those years in Santa Barbara. My backside is great. I have no fear.
There's a video of you doing this, like, it's kind of shot at an angle like parallel with you, but you do the swooping, like a full backside roundhouse cutback. It looks so rad. It's such a rad wave.
Thanks.
I don't know where I saw it at, but yeah. So your backside surfing was pretty good also. Were you popping airs or trying to do floaters backside, or was it strictly going frontside?
Mostly floaters, but backside airs were a little tough.
Mm-hmm.
But what I was trying to do with those big roundhouse cutbacks is I was trying to go way out on the shoulder.
Yes.
And then come back and pretend it was a left.
Okay. Yes, that's what it looks like.
And then hit the whitewater like really high and like almost get a fins free type air thing out of that. But,
yes. Which is super hard, by the way. It's like probably one of the hardest things in the world to do, because you're changing direction and the speed, even though you are coming back full speed. Then to hit it again, it's very hard.
Yeah, because you're just going against the grain, and you have to really push against the water.
Mm-hmm. So you were trying to get airs, basically trying to go backside to front side, is basically what I think you're saying? Yeah.
A backside air is, I don't know, like a regular backside air, they were tough, but they were difficult at a point break.
Yes.
Whereas like a beach break, I could do them. But point breaks were a little tough, and
yeah. All right.
Floaters were way more functional on backside on a point break.
Okay. And did you enjoy doing those too?
The floaters?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, they're
the backside floater is almost funner than a frontside floater in some ways.
It is. Yeah, it's just it's great.
Okay. So, eventually, did you get a cover shot in surfing?
I had my name on the cover.
Oh, you had the name on the cover. Okay, my bad. Sorry.
No, not at all. Yeah, my name was on the cover. It was a shot of Simon Anderson, and then there was an interview with me in the magazine.
Okay, so I gotcha.
Yeah, so I have it somewhere. It's stuffed in the garage.
Yeah, I was trying to look at my old magazines. I couldn't find it, but okay. I read somewhere that you did. Okay, so you have your name. Was it surfing or surfer? You remember?
Surfing.
Okay. What was your favorite mag, surfer or surfing?
They were both just great in their own right. I mean, surfing magazine was a little bit more edgy, and a little bit more progressive, and surfer was just the classic soulful approach. Yeah, it was a good balance.
So at what point do you decide, even though you don't like contests, that you want to be a pro surfer?
Well, pro surfing was just at its infancy. Like the IPS was just forming, and it was like, okay, well, maybe you can make a living at surfing.
Okay.
But I just couldn't do it. I just couldn't. I started surfing to get away from all the other sports.
Okay. Fair enough.
Because it's so free, and it's more creative, and it's more, it's just different. It's not a team sport, and it's not about the points.
Mhm.
But I'm like, well, shit, I should give it a try, and maybe I can, make a career out of it.
Yeah.
So I got to travel. I traveled for 4 or 5 years and tried to get some results, but that didn't work out.
So did you have sponsorship, or like, are you funding this yourself, or like, how is that happening? How are you getting around the world?
Both.
Mhm.
I'd work, save up some money,
Wow.
go overseas, and then had some sponsorship, people to help you. And, it was kind of a collaboration, if you will.
Okay. Yeah. You were making it happen.
Kind of.
Okay. What do you mean, kind of? Like, it sounds like you were hustling, in whenever the off season was, whatever you were doing, working, right? Or you
Yeah, it's just, I think it's just basically the timing and my personality. It just didn't, I couldn't put it together as far as, I don't get the competition thing. I just don't get it.
Okay. No, fair enough. And a lot of people, so you got to remember, 95 or 98% of the people that surf have probably never surfed a heat in their life.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes, exactly.
So,
And it's just not like, people enjoy it for so many other reasons.
You said it earlier, art.
Yeah. I mean, it's very artistic. You're in nature, you're creative. You can do, your boards are cool. You can make them whatever you want. You can surf however you want. It's the community. It's that whole flip side of the competition thing.
But you tried for 4 or 5 years. How did that go? And what were your thoughts of it?
I think that, competition definitely pushes you to be better.
Okay.
For sure. To be competitive, you have to be super focused. Like Tom, you wouldn't even know it, but he's like the most competitive person I've ever met.
So I've heard, yeah.
He can focus, and he's just like, he's next level competition wise.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't have that. I just, my head's in the clouds.
That's good.
Like,
there's nothing wrong with that. Yeah.
I'm just grooving out there.
Yeah. But you're also pushing yourself. That's why you're doing the airs, you're doing the floaters, you're flying down the line.
Yeah. It's more of like just a visionary kind of creative sort of approach, I guess.
Yeah. So you do 4 years, you travel around the world. Anything exciting happened in those years? Any funny stories, or something bad happened? You got stuck somewhere or something?
Oh yeah, you're always getting stuck places, but I remember being in Japan and having to sleep in the airport and waking up with guns drawn on me. I don't know.
Whoa! What happened?
I don't think you were supposed to sleep where I was sleeping.
Did you find like a little nook and just fell asleep?
Yeah, I don't know. Surfing was frowned upon, and I was just some surf grom.
Yeah.
Sleeping in the airport, it's like, probably not cool.
Okay.
Surfing the Pipeline Masters, it's your dream as a goofyfoot to get invited to the Pipe Masters, and I got invited. I still remember walking to the mailbox and opening it up. I was like, "What? I got invited to the Pipe Masters?"
Wow.
So I went over there, did the whole thing. My heat, I was late for my heat.
What?
Yes, and they didn't have jerseys; they had trunks.
Okay. Yeah. Yes. I do.
So I grabbed. My heat was going in the water. I wasn't ready, so I grabbed a pair of trunks.
Uh-huh.
But they were like 2 sizes too big. So I'm running down the beach with my 8-foot pipeline gun, holding up my trunks, and so I get out there, and lo and behold, this most amazing pipe wave just comes right to me. I had no idea what I was doing out there.
Okay.
I stroke into it, just pulling this huge barrel,
Uh-huh.
and I just get, it just shuts down on me.
It's annihilated.
And I go over the falls, and I come up, and I'm like, oh shit, my trunks are gone. and there's like 10,000 people on the beach. I'm like, what the hell am I going to do?
That was funny.
And so I'm like, oh, wait, I'm floating out there. I'm naked. I have no, and I'm like, oh God, it's the most embarrassing moment. And then I'm like, okay, so I see this white spot like way down there.
Okay.
And I'm like, I wonder if those are my trunks.
Okay.
And so I swear it was the first time I've ever prayed to a higher being. Please let those be my trunks. So I swam down and they were my trunks.
No, you got so lucky. It would have been funny if you'd have walked in naked, but that's still pretty good.
Oh yeah, I just walked in like no big problem.
Wait, so how many waves did you catch before you lost your trunks? It was like one wave and done.
That was the first one.
And then you were done for the heat? The heat was over? Basically?
Well, I got my trunks. I remember I paddled back out, and I don't
Okay.
think I caught a wave after I was too freaked out. I'm like, I can't lose my trunks again.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So
That's a great story.
That's a really classic story.
That's a good
trying
one.
to think of some other ones that, your typical debauchery in Australia, Oh, I have a good story. I was in Japan,
Okay.
and I was with the guys that were sponsoring me,
Mhm.
and we went to this restaurant, and we got really drunk.
Okay.
I mean, really drunk, and it was a buffet.
Okay.
And we started a food fight.
No.
Yes. And they threw me down the stairs.
No.
Get the hell out of here.
Yeah, that doesn't seem... Japan's not the proper place for that.
No.
Oh, no.
Oh, God. I could go on and on and on.
Oh, that's great.
Anyways.
So you had this full fun life, at least.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, of surfing heats, I guess, if you're traveling around the world.
Yeah. No, I'm very thankful to travel around the world and go surfing. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
It's an amazing thing, so very thankful.
Who are the guys that you were surfing against, too? Was it like the PTs and the Rabbits and all these guys?
Yes. Yeah, that whole crew.
Okay. Were you
And
trying
they
to...
were the Australians are gnarly. They're so competitive,
Yeah.
They're so good.
Were you doing airs and stuff in the heats, or were you surfing like they were? Did you change your surfing?
Well, yeah, I had to try to kind of conform, which I don't like to do. But
Yeah.
airs were, I did some little smaller airs, but yeah.
And judges probably didn't catch it at all. Like, didn't even recognize what you're doing.
That's why I can't do contests, because you've got to put your gig,
Yes.
what you do in a box for 15 minutes. And it's like, what?
Yeah. It doesn't make sense. The
Some
way you
people can do
describe
it,
it,
some-
yeah, some people totally are the best at it. Like Tom Kern's the best at it, but
Yeah.
it doesn't make sense if you think about it, really.
Well, I think surfing has always, in a way, kind of had an inferiority complex. Like, it wants to be, up there with all the other sports, but people love surfing because it's just a kind of a wild, creative adventure.
Mhm.
So it's a very fascinating thing, the two sides.
Yeah. So when did you start shaping boards?
Let's see, I started shaping probably my early 20s. I was shaping my own boards, just a few here and there.
Okay.
And then let's see, I just would shape every once in a while, like a board a year or something. And then I had a surf camp for 20 years.
Mhm.
So I didn't shape at all during that time. And then we retired the camp, and then I jumped on with CI as a full-time shaper.
Wow. Okay.
So I did that for 18 years. So
but you're kind of would you say a late bloomer in the shaping then? Like before you made it a full-time gig?
yeah, I mean, I always had a good relationship with CI, and I still do to this day. And it's just kind of a natural progression. It's like, okay, I surf, and I guess I have to work.
That sucks, right?
And it's like, okay, so maybe I can shape,
Okay.
So then, did that.
What are your thoughts on shaping? Do you enjoy it, or is it work?
When you have to shape and you have to do so many boards, you can get really burned out on that.
Yeah, I bet.
And CI is busy, and you got to produce. And they were very kind with me. They're just like, yeah, whatever. We know who you are. Take your time. Just do your work. And there's a balance between. You always want to do quality, but some people can do quality in 15 minutes.
Yes.
Other people, it takes 45 minutes.
Correct.
The quality was always my bottom line, and I was a very slow shaper.
Okay.
But shaping it's really cool. It's awesome.
When you're shaping for CI, this is before machines, or is it like what period?
It was right when Burton bought CI.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, I came on board and Burton bought CI, and they got a shaping machine, and then they started cutting the boards, and then they bought the place in carpentry at a factory down there. So
yeah, so shaping, it's fun, but it just took you a while. But do you still shape today?
I do. I have a shaping room here at the house.
Yeah.
And I just shape all my own boards, glass up my own boards, and I just do them for myself.
Oh, you don't sell them ever? People can't reach out to have you shape them a board?
I suppose if they want to wait and they're looking for a glider.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd be down to do that for people.
Okay, cool.
But there's not too many glider writers out there.
I'm surprised too, because I would think, what best wave fits a glider, or what wave does the glider fit the wave? I should say.
I ride mine and everything. I didn't think they had such a wide range.
Yeah,
I can tell you the waves to avoid.
Okay, yeah, I bet.
Sucked out hollow waves.
Yes, that's a lot of board.
Yeah. But they're good, anywhere from, you can ride them when it's knee high.
Yes.
I've ridden mine at, good size waves out here. Anything really. Anything but you could never ride one at, say, the Strand, Silver Strand, or, like
Zuma.
a big no, God, no.
Yeah. Right. You're avoiding that place.
Literally die.
Right. Yeah. But 2 foot, 3 foot Malibu.
Absolutely.
That's like I'm surprised more people aren't riding those actually out there.
Well, the longboard movement is very popular.
It is.
And the gliders, they're so expensive. I mean, to get a glider is going to cost you upwards around $1,800.
Wow. Okay.
And you know what? They're really hard to ride. You would think that they're easy, but it's like a whole nother thing in trying to ride them. They're like, they should have CF numbers.
Yeah, no kidding. Okay. So I've ridden one before actually. And, maybe it wasn't a glider like how you're talking, but it was, I think it was like 11.5 foot twin fin.
Okay. Yeah.
And I don't know. I mean, how do you turn that thing? And where do you stand on it? Yeah, you don't. Once it goes, it goes, right?
You're basically, it's really interesting. You're standing up and you're a straight line all the way to the beach. Way to the beach.
Yes, once you hit your line, you're on.
Yeah. You're not positioning it or anything like that. You're just straight line all the way to the beach. It's the coolest. It's like the coolest thing.
How heavy are your boards? Are the gliders heavy or are they light?
Oh my God, my boards are so heavy.
Right. Okay. Yeah. I get what you're riding. That's hard board to ride.
They're very difficult. It's a whole different kind of surfing. Like, you're looking at the waves totally different, like where to take off, because you got to take off so much deeper.
Okay.
It's like a foil in a way, but you don't have the ability to turn.
Okay.
you're just going super fast and you're super straight.
So that's why you love, because you like to go fast.
Yes. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
The speed is amazing.
Yeah, you love speed. Are you riding anything else? Is that basically all you ride every day?
That's all I ride every day, and I have been riding for about a year and a half now.
What got you on that?
You know, I didn't want to do the mid-length thing
Okay.
because when we were kids, they were called fun shapes, and
Okay, you're right.
and they kind of had, you know, it's like, oh, you ride a fun shape.
Yeah.
So I just kind of I have a mid-length that I shaped. It's amazing. I'll ride it once in a while, but the gliders are just, it's a whole different kind of
Gotcha.
take on the sport. Like you're opening up the whole beach. Like you can paddle down a half a mile if you want and surf something else.
Yeah.
Paddle up here, paddle over there. It's really super fun.
That's awesome. Right on. Like, what's your brand?
It's called Bluestone Surfcraft.
You want to talk about Bluestone Surfcraft besides your boards? Do you have more along with that?
Not really.
Okay.
Surfboards are very difficult to, you know, they're just difficult. There's the outlay of cash for a board and a glass job, and then you got to sell it. It's not a good business model.
Unless you're mass producing, right?
If you're mass producing or you're doing just one board here or there with just a beautiful glass job on it, and you can afford to let it sit for a few months before it sells.
Yep.
Either that, or you have to really kind of be down in the Mecca,
Orange County, San Diego.
Orange County, yeah, those areas where thousands of surfers and you can set up shop and stuff like that. So
okay.
But it's cool. Just kind of toying around with it. I like the gliders. I just don't know if they're not for everybody.
If the lineup was, if everyone had a glider, it would be pretty screwed. I'll be honest with you. As crowded as it is.
Oh my God! Yeah, it would be chaos.
It would be a shit show for sure. It already is.
Yeah. So don't get any gliders.
That's right. Unless you're
Closed
surfing
for business.
Morro Bay or something.
Out of business.
Yes. So you got to explain what this is. Designer. You label yourself as a designer. God, what is that?
Well, I was a designer at CI. So shaper, designer.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, I designed quite a few boards there. Yeah. So I was kind of, the senior designer. I mean, I didn't have a title there of that, but did a lot of designing different, tail templates and rails and bottom contours and stuff. So
is that a fun part of shaping, like being involved in that?
Oh yeah, that's great. Yeah.
Okay.
Because, as an older surfer now, it's like you have a lot of knowledge about what works and what doesn't. So now AI is going to take all that, but
yes. What are your thoughts on that?
On AI?
On AI in general, or just the machines or designing through a computer boards?
I'm not a big fan of the CNC machines per se.
Okay.
Somebody to shape from a raw blank, like a master craftsman. I mean, that to me is like what surfing is all about. Like this sport, a master craftsman or craftswoman, puts their heart and soul and their years of knowledge into building that board from scratch. You can't get anything more soulful than that. Mm-hmm. And to me, that just captures the essence of surfing.
Yeah.
But progressively, if you've got pros that need the latest and greatest, and there's nothing wrong with the computer.
Yeah. And quick.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Two different worlds, I guess. But actually, let me ask you. Two
different worlds. Yeah. Exactly. You're exactly right.
Let me ask you this. You said something interesting, and I thought about this the other day, is there's not, I'm sure, I'm not saying there isn't any. I'm sure there's a few out there, but the world that I've seen in the surfing world, there's not a lot of women shapers out there. Is that going to change, you think?
I don't know. I think I saw an article somewhere. I can't remember where I saw it, but it was talking about how more women are entering the shaping world.
Good.
Yeah, I know. I think it would be amazing.
Right. I just thought maybe you knew someone firsthand or something. Do you know any female shapers?
Let's see. I think there's a gal up in Santa Cruz. I was following her on Instagram. She was making some really nice boards. I can't remember her name, but there's a few out there.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm sure there is. I got to do some investigating. I'd love to interview one of them. Right?
Oh
on.
yeah, you got to do a interview with one of them for sure.
Yeah, I got to figure that out.
All of them.
Oh,
Yeah,
there you go.
sure.
I hope there's too many to just be all of them. That'd be forever. But there may only be a few, so I got to look into that. You did also the Davey Smith Surf Academy, which you talked about, and you retired from that. Are you done with that?
Yeah, it's too much. The reason we got to 20 years,
Yeah, it's a long
did
time.
it for 20 years,
Mm-hmm.
and we didn't have any major accidents, no issues, no nothing.
Mm-hmm.
We had some close calls.
Of course, you're
And-
in the ocean.
Yes, you're dealing with children in the ocean,
Yeah.
which is really a lot of liability.
Yeah, it's true.
And so we got to the 20-year mark, and I was just like, I'm tired. This is because I take it really seriously. I took it super seriously. It's like the bottom line is to keep the kids safe.
Okay.
That's the bottom line.
Yes.
And to let them have fun at surfing and learn a really cool, immersive kind of thing, that would be positive for their lives.
Yes.
But, it's after 20 years, it's so gnarly. It's just like,
So was it hard to get up in the morning to know you're going to do the same thing? Grab boards, grab wetsuits.
Yes. I mean, it's your summertime, from
Yes.
the day everybody gets out of school. We ran 11 sessions, week-long sessions.
Wow, it's a lot.
And they were from like 9 to 3. And
Full day. In the sun.
Yeah, we had 15 kids, 12 to 15 kids.
Wow.
In the sun. Yeah, it's the money was great. But,
Sure.
And it was so rewarding because we got to, I got to teach Tom's kids and all
cool.
the young Groms coming up, Bobby Martinez, all the young kids that were coming up in Santa Barbara came through the Surf Academy.
Wow.
So,
That's cool.
yeah. Tarek Khashoggi and the Petersons and Coffins, Connor and Parker, and the list literally goes on. We were called the Surf Camp of the Stars because we had a lot of Hollywood A-listers kids in the camp because a lot of them live in Montecito.
Yeah.
So that was really fun. That was just a great 20 years.
You don't want to do any name dropping, or you're not allowed to, or you don't want to? And that's fine.
Nah, I don't want to.
Okay.
Nah.
Fair enough. So let me ask you this, since you brought it up. Were a lot of the celebrities cool?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. No. Yeah. It's a lot of film producers.
Yeah. I probably wouldn't recognize their faces anyhow.
Yeah, they're not. Yeah, it's no. Everybody was just so nice, and they loved the camp because it was really small.
Yeah.
And so we kept it really small and personable, and parents could come anytime, and there was no. I wanted to make it as like you and I when we were learning how to surf when we were kids. It was like fun, hanging out at the beach.
Yes.
Kind of causing trouble. I wanted it to be open like that so they would have a good experience. So, and the parents appreciated that, and everybody was great.
That's awesome. When you started off surfing, did you know, let's go back to the first wave your brother pushed you into, that this would be a lifelong obsession?
Kind of, yes. I mean, you know how like the first wave, like I just remember it vividly now.
Yeah.
Always have. And I'm like, this is the coolest thing on the planet.
I get it.
The only thing that I think comes close to surfing is maybe hang gliding.
Okay. Never done that.
Because you're on a surface that's moving.
Okay.
you're riding on a moving surface, which there's not so many things like that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of dynamic to it. So I didn't really when you're a 10-year-old kid, you're like, this is what I'm going to do for the rest of my life. No, but I was like, but like, this is really cool, and I want to do it again.
Yes, got it. A couple highlight things I want to highlight here are
Sure.
I read, got best sportsmanship from the mayor of the Gold Coast. You helped somebody or saved somebody during a heat?
Yeah. I was in the Stubbies event, and my competitor got hurt.
Who was it? Do you know? Do you remember?
I can't remember.
Okay.
But
Fair enough.
I'm like, I could stay out here and win the heat.
Yes.
Or I can go help a man.
Did you lose the heat?
It's one of those life moment things.
Okay. Yes. What's right?
So I helped him in, and then I lost the heat.
Oh no! Of course.
He actually advanced because he had more. He was ahead in the heat. So.
Oh jeez. Oh
Yeah.
No.
So
did he apologize and thank you, or like?
Oh yeah. It was totally cool.
Okay.
I wish I could remember exactly who it was.
I wish you knew too. Oh
yeah,
that's crazy.
But
so,
at the awards ceremony, the mayor was there, and he gave me best sportsmanship. I'm like, thanks.
That's cool. Was it a plaque or anything, or just verbally?
No, it was like a little medal.
Okay, you still have that?
No.
No way.
Oh, yeah,
no, that sucks.
I don't know. It was just a small little medal, and in the trout, I didn't think it was a big deal at the time, but
yeah, it would be cool.
Yeah. So
okay,
but that was a cool experience.
Yeah, totally. All right.
I mean, I didn't really do anything out of the ordinary. That's the thing. It's like, who wouldn't do that?
I mean, I don't know. I here's the deal. Well, I don't know. I guess when Mick Fanning got attacked by the shark, I guess was it Julia Wilson helped him? I guess, or kind of paddled over there. But I don't know. I think a lot of these guys would step right over to the next guy. Personally, I don't know, but maybe not. Who knows?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I don't know. I'm assuming. Okay.
Yeah.
And then, so you got to tell me what this is. You have a master's degree in divinity and Middle Eastern studies. What is that?
Well, when I was 40,
okay.
I decided to go back to school.
Yep.
And I did it all online. And it was, it's basically a master's degree in like pastoral ministry, because I was doing that with Christian surfers for a while.
Okay. But
it was intertwined with Middle Eastern studies too. So yeah, it took me a while to get it, but it was kind of, we had young kids, and I was like, I really want them to want to be a role model for education.
Mm-hmm.
So you should always be learning in life, no matter how old you are. So, and I wanted to show that to my kids. So.
Wow. Okay, cool. Did take you a long time, huh?
It took me 3 years.
Okay. All right. That's cool. I just think the period of time of you progressing at a whole different level, and maybe 10 years after you were doing it, watching guys like, that got famous for the floater, like Richie Collins, or now even the air games today, they're all basically, I'll give you all three of you guys credit, the Kevin Reed and the Matt Keckley, but your guys is, and all from different areas too, by the way. I know you guys weren't surfing next to each other.
Yeah.
Coming up with like the air is the biggest maneuver in surfing today, pro surfing the least.
Well, yeah, I mean, it was just a natural progression, and I saw it coming. You could see it in skateboarding. So
yeah, you saw it, but the rest of the surf population did not see it. Most probably.
No, they didn't see it at all.
Yeah.
No.
Visionary.
Yeah.
You're visionary.
Oh, thanks.
It's just a fascinating. It's so like awesome talking to you today. So
thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it. It's a real honor.
All right. Well, Davey Smith, thank you so much for coming on the Quivercast. It was an honor to talk to you, and thank you so much. All right, everybody. This is Mike and Davey, and we're out of here. Later. Bye, Davey.
Boys and girls surfers going up and down. That's when I caught my wave, knew what to do. Surf that wave right to the shore, and yes, dreams come true. What a fantastic sunny day. Boys and girls hanging around, surfers going up and down. When I caught my wave, knew what to do. Surf that wave right to the shore, and yes, my dream came true.
Hey, you guys. Endless Summer box set. This thing is legit. It's authentic. Numbered certificate in it. It has a 5-frame film strip from the original print. You will literally own a piece of history. It has a specially minted bronze medallion. Dude, that thing's sick. Okay, there's so much more here. Go to the show notes. There's a link on there. Go check this piece of history out. This thing's rad. Seriously. Smithsonian American History Museum has it. It took 4 years of research with 3.5 in production, all hand assembled. This thing's rad. So much to this awesome box set. Remastered DVD, sharper images than the original film, but dude, this thing's so sick. Link in the show notes.